I'm going to talk about professional RecMin. RecMin Profession might be. RecMin Free has 4 modules. Both are completely compatible, except some parts of the database. It is advised to work with both. Once you can synchronize between them, the database, the Pro is free. Installation too, but with that option you can only open projects. But to be able to edit, open databases directly and to be able to export, you need to obtain a license to use it. The main novelty is that there is. Have the projects are advised, it is not mandatory. Referenced know where to place each project that we put at the base with a new project of work. We can say in what UTM zone it is, in what hemisphere it is, and approximate UTM coordinates near the project. Okay. Any, but this one well to relatively in the area. Not work can be synchronized as we see with databases or projects that let's have the free at the moment. We do it by adding here to the edit deposits. Then from the moment the base of data will be synchronized with both, with the free and with the pro, we can work in both of them in the polling part. Have other things we'll talk about later in other videos. Then when we are in the pro, we have to tell him with what project we are going to work. And well, some things that I can show you for that you see the capabilities of RecMin Pro is always working in 3D. Everything is 3D. There is nothing that is just one projection or that you're working on. 2D is in RecMin Free. It also can triangular as you did also with the free, but here the triangulation is pretty faster. You can triangulate by the Delano method, which is the more common, but there is also that grids that also has RecMin Free, and that is advised when we have large surfaces for that does not occupy much space and does not exist so many triangles and get a view acceptable to be able to see in 3D. Then if we are going to use a texture, that would be maybe another of the novelties that the RecMin Pro now, it would be adding any image reference to or the photo, then we can open it automatically and the program will place it in the corresponding site because it will come referenced and locate the texture. Or climbing surfaces is easy. As we can see, you select on the screen the option that project on a triangulation and what does immediately you can work with any drawing element like scales, translations, etc. In this case we have exaggerated the Z to a surface and we have returned it to triangular. In that way we see, exaggeratedly, the same thing we can do in a work civil where are the areas of more pending or less pending. Okay. We can project and reproject it in the topped part and we can see the same surface generating the height, right? 4. Have better aspect ratio. Okay. Then we see the back is much more simple and very powerful. We can return back any operation we do, regardless of the options. Bone visualization we may be changing and moving at the same time and we can go back in pictures without being considered a back turn for the image of visualization. The well to is different. Back of actions on the objects. Okay. We are going to add, for example, soundings of one of my databases. The form of presentation as you see is very similar to the one we have in RecMin Free, but I think now we can handle more easily in the bar of tools for that object. Then you can climb that is more or less pronounced. Put more elements, we will see a little more detailed later. Okay. Also climb so much the geology is in the bars. Now let's add, for example, a block model, for example. In this area, you are already seeing how it looks and how it is added. As you see, it is all dynamic. They are added there on the drawing area. We color them as in RecMin Free with the fields that we want, and here we can also space it more or less, since the blocks occupy all the space. But we can make them slightly separated, since that way, it looks much better the blocks, and even we can do it until we see a very tiny block in the center, and that allows us to visualize what is around. and visualize certain properties too. Let's now add a model, D. Model of this body that was a T3, which has been drawn with the RecMin free. We add here in a very simple way. Remember that they are completely compatible. Open all the files you have in free and you can generate new ones that also you could open them in the RecMin free, which are the RMRX that has a format, let's say standard type in XML and maybe with many more options than the free. As we see, we can any object we have there, so we can change their properties. We can make transparent or not, like we did with the transparent body. We can make cuts or sections. For example, a section for a zone. Particular here, then. We will do it that simple and we will be watching in 3D the part that we move it, we get closer, we can do that in other operations. Now they are much more simple and is the potential that the RecMin Pro not only at you have now, but for the amount of options that from now on we will go entering and adding that they will do more powerful time, right? Looking like always those things that are useful and make it simple and make it easy to use and that many things can be done. Here we are opening, for example, this that is a RecMin project, which is huge and it has many bodies. We have opened a lot of lines that were worth make the models of the zones, mineralized, draw faults, etc. I'll leave a few to see how easy it can be draw a body by selecting two lines and joining them can be closed not closed. He will take care of joining them with the algorithm that has. And there is a help window too that I will not show now in case of make it complicated to be able to even help to favor the union of certain points. This finite modeling option we have it very advanced and can be done enough things. You can change easily reversing faces like we saw there was a line upside down as we change and we change colors properties. We can gather them all in a single volume. But all how we see from a graphic form, we can move any object from one side to another and turn it to the original side, or we can simply move it partially to see how it is. When we have a lot of information left, the selection as we see between a lot of information on the screen, relatively simple. You select things in 3D, I have the option to activate, select and move at the same time. Sometimes it's complex to use it, but good having practice, and it is very powerful because it allows you to move, rotate and select in a very simple way without having to go to the switch button between one thing and another. Well then, let's remove back in everything we did, and we are going to open all the bodies that are part of them, because this is very big. And it has many T3 models. Let's open a few for you to see. Once join the lines of some of these would be like this. The option to change the color or to search the best relationship in a window where we can set some lights, not what. Let's do now, not to do. I extend the video, since the objective is to see, in a way, how fast is the potential. RecMin Pro. Let's for example, to triangulate the surface, we triangulate it. Let's do what same as we did before, that is the most normal. Once this is done, it can be saved. Now pretty fast we'll see a orthophoto of the area, in this case a selfie where we have attached a orthophoto made with a drone of detail of the movement of land that it's done almost every month and united with the areas that we have of official orthophoto downloads. Okay. It's like that we are having more details of these areas in which we are working, and as you see, can see with a pretty acceptable detail. And also with a very fast movement. Because there is a lot of information there, let's remove the lines page or put them not visible, and we will move a block so you can see how easy it is to move something what is hidden behind other objects and all that. As you can see, it is easily automatic. The degree of detail you see is good. It has a fleet control module that you must have seen in another video that we put in little, where you can see the trucks online, moving. Thanks to Wait and Tab information of the changes through tablets, etc., etc. Let's now add surveys in the area. For example, these are probes of a short one of the bodies. Let's also take away the proportion to the size of the bar so that it is not very large. The pills, activity, transparency of the body so that let's see what's inside. As we see, you can see with a lot detail everything they are. Jobs and things like models. And the probes and do the same for underground. What we are doing is filling in blocks of one size, determined in one of the models of the volumes that we have of this is the body of this one in particular. And as it does dynamically, that is, we can be working on other things and moving to the time he keeps filling. That is, you do not need to stay running just the task. I'm going to move around so you can see like what he did. Okay. How are the blocks filled in this case? I'm going to separate them a little so that look good in 3D. I will change the color, so what I did. They are transparent there, the blocks that they filled. We moved it aside so you can see how it was. Then this block model, you can use it for other things. What I have not commented on the poles. Well, the probes can be seen in the form of bars, 3D paths, and you can see up to 4 elements at a time. Like in this case, I have 4 elements and each one form a quadrant filled with a color and size according to a law that they have. It might seem cumbersome to see it, but they can change the proportions and have a legend or different color range for each element. As is logical, and a way too easy, it changes. For example, the proportion of lithologies as make them bigger, more small the bars that frame the lithology, and we can go removing elements. Now we see that there are 3. Now, there are 2 that would occupy half a disk A element and half disk the other, or leave 1. We would see how it is more normal to see 1. Let's see now another powerful option that has the professional RecMin and is referring to export to save 3D PDF files from any work that we have. We open it or we generate it, and we can have, or we have the option rather of export to PDF 3D. When exporting it in PDF 3D from the work that we have, what we can send to any person and simply with the Acrobat reader that is free, as you know, and they have it. Basically almost all computers or others readers that allow it. We can show our work without you. The person who sent it to you has to install anything in special and does the work that he had before, or has a 3D visualizer that we have. The goal was to be able to send I work for someone, but I should have the 3D viewer. Now with the 3D PDF there, you have to install anything. Here we have saved one and we have opened it with the Acrobat reader, and as we see, it looks very good. You can zoom in and more things.